Now available streaming is I wouldn't call it the third film in the series. Let's say it is the new Fletch movie entitled Confess, Fletch from 2022. This had a tiny theatrical release, barely released in theaters. I just caught up with it on the Showtime Anytime or Showtime Anywhere, the Showtime streaming app, but this is available streaming and it's a digital rental. This is Jon Hamm taking over the reins from Chevy Chase as the intrepid and wisecracking reporter Irwin M. Fletcher, aka Fletch, which was the basis for the 1985 movie Fletch, the 1989 movie Fletch Lives, and those were based on a long-running series of Fletch novels. So I've been waiting for another Fletch movie probably since 1989. I'm not going to say a gigantic Fletch fan, but I really liked those first two movies, and it was such a fun character, and I always felt like there was so much to work with there, especially considering there's just like so many books you could base a movie on. For a long time, Kevin Smith was trying to get one called Fletch 1, W-O-N, made with Jason Lee as Fletch. That never happened. And finally, it took this long for director Greg Mottola to come along, he who did Adventureland and Superbad, to team up with Jon Hamm and make Confess, Fletch. So here we are. It's 2022. Fletch is coming to Boston from Europe to help track down some stolen paintings that a woman has hired him to try to find some stolen paintings, and he winds up falling for her, and she's his girlfriend, and then he wakes up, and this is going to be point by point, just giving you the setup here. He goes to this luxury brownstone that's been rented for him sort of as a Airbnb thing in Boston, and what do you know, there's a dead lady there. So Fletch is the prime suspect for the murder of this woman. So he decides to basically be Fletch and try to help investigate, do what he's being paid to do, which is find out where those paintings went, but also try to figure out who killed this woman so that they don't arrest him for it, because all signs point to Fletch in this situation. So what is it like watching a Fletch movie without Chevy Chase in it? Well, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I mean, it's 40 years later, give or take a few years. We're not going to get another Chevy Chase Fletch movie. It's a fun character. Let's have fun with it. So I did. I thought this was a lot of fun. This is a very funny movie. Jon Hamm as Fletch is the Jon Hamm version of Fletch. Just like when somebody else plays James Bond, he's not the last person who did it, he's his person. So Jon Hamm as Fletch is pretty low-key, pretty funny, wisecracking, always, ready with a smart-ass comment, and, helpful to a degree, helpful where it will benefit him, basically. You have John Slattery, who also was a co-star of Mad Men with Jon Hamm for many years as the Frank character, as Fletch's, cranky boss who happens to find himself in Boston and helps out along the way. You have Kyle MacLachlan in this film. You have Marcia Gay Harden in this film. So you have a few faces that you will recognize. You have Robert Picardo in this film. A few recognizable faces, but really mostly it's Jon Hamm dealing with the couple of police officers who are sort of always watching him, and these various players in this strange mystery of who has the paintings, why is this woman dead, are the two things connected, what's going on here? It's a pretty breezy flick. It's about, I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood about 95 minutes. It's very fun. I felt like there were moments comedically that I wished it might have been shot a little differently. I don't know if that's direction or what you call it, but there were just moments where in my head, I'm like, if you had done it this way, that joke would have landed a little bit better. It would have had a little bit more punch to it. It's shot not wildly dynamically. It looks like a movie. It was shot, I think, to be shown in the theaters. It's just, I think at this point, Fletch and Jon Hamm are not together such a large bill of goods that the studios had a lot of faith that this would be a big blockbuster. So a friend of mine was able to see this in the theater in California, in a chain theater, and it was just sort of like, it was released with no ballyhoo. People who were going to the theater the week it was there had no idea the movie even existed, and I think that's probably what has sunk this movie more than anything else. I really hope this finds an audience online. I really would like to see more Jon Hamm Fletch movies. I wouldn't mind seeing a Jon Hamm Fletch series. Take one of the Fletch books and just adapt it with taking however much time is required and make it a 6-episode Netflix thing or a 10-episode Netflix thing. I think that would be great. That would be, if Jon Hamm's next big thing was to do a Fletch series where every season was one of the books, that'd be pretty damn cool. I don't know if Fletch is a theatrical, bankable thing at this point, unless you put like a megastar in it and frankly dumbed it down more than would be necessary. I thought I think that's a hard title to say for me for some reason. I think Confess Fletch is a lot of fun. If you like the originals, it's worth a look. But if you're just looking for a fun kind of mystery comedy, it was a really good time. Like, I was really enjoying this movie and kind of didn't want it to end when it did. So available streaming or as a digital rental, maybe as a Blu-ray too, I'm not sure. Confess Fletch.